Hi there, welcome back. In this video today, we're going to use these three lovely pot molds again and some of these gorgeous inspired by nature shells. I think they're bits of mother of pearl. Everything we've used in today's video will be linked in the description box below. So let's get cracking. This is some Tea Expert resin. It's a 1-to-1 mixing ratio, and this is me just stirring it. Now I made up quite a lot of resin and I stirred it slowly like this for a good 5 minutes. It goes a bit cloudy and then it clears again. So this is it fully mixed. We're going to add in what I can only call some magic glitter. It looks white in the container. I think it's from the Range, which is a UK high street store here. It looks white, but look at it. It dissipates across the surface of the resin and it goes completely clear, but it leaves little pops of sparkle. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm just mixing it in. I wanted to just elevate the resin a bit, because I wasn't sure that completely clear was going to work. So you might remember this mica powder, Golden Glow by Arteza. It's from our last video that I did where I made these pots and some shell dishes or bowls. If you've not seen those, why not check out our playlist and go and watch them. They are lovely videos. I think we'd make some outstandingly beautiful and stunning pieces. Anyway, you can see not quite mixed thoroughly enough there, so I do put a bit more in and then give it a really good thorough mix so that we don't have any bits of powder left behind. There we go. That bit stirred, that's stirring up there, stirring it up, and we've also sped this clip up a little bit. Now, you're probably aware of the fact that this video is longer than our usual. It's almost 24 minutes long. Please bear with us. We've shown you the full process of making this, the full process. So the mica powder, I thought I'm going to put it on the inside of the lid and the inside of the mold and try and highlight the pattern, the detail on the pot part of the mold. So here I am using just a dry bristled paintbrush. Actually, this paintbrush wasn't too good, so I won't use that one again, but just putting the mica powder the brush into the pot of mica powder and then brushing it inside that I don't know what you call it, the handle part of the lid, and then I'm going to do across this part of the pot. And I was so enthusiastic, I think is the right word, to do this. I thought, oh, this is going to look good, this is going to look fantastic, it's going to give me exactly what I want. But I go to all the trouble of putting it on here and on one part of the pattern detail, that lovely arch, the arched lines there, and then I decide actually it's probably not going to do what I wanted to do, and I wipe it all off again. But you know, we've left it in, we've left the clip in rather than delete it out, because we wanted you to see what we do, or the process. Obviously we have sped certain sections of this up because the whole thing itself is quite lengthy. It's a lot longer than 24 minutes. But hopefully you've got yourself nice and comfortable, got a lovely cup of something to drink, or a glass of something maybe, and you're just relaxing watching us in our creation videos. So here I am, I've turned it back the right way round and thought, don't think it's quite going to work. I decided to leave the mica powder in the lid, in the sort of handle part of the lid, but I did actually then remove it from the pot. Well, I thought I had, but you'll see what happens. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to decant some of this lovely resin that's got the glitter and the mica powder into a separate mixing jug. Now, there's various ways you could do this. These beautiful pieces of mother of pearl shell, it said inspired by nature. We got them from Hobbycraft, I believe. Must get some more. Hopefully they've got some still. I've decided to pour a bit of the resin down into this pot part of the mould. I'm also going to do the same thing with the lid. There we go. I'm just going to move the lid into shot. There we go. You see I'm doing that there. A little bit, maybe a little bit more, I think. Yeah, just a little bit more. Because what I'm concerned about is bubbles. bubbles forming from putting the shells, these beautiful shells, in. And I don't want bubbles. I really don't want bubbles. If I can help it. Obviously, if I get a few, I get a few. So, moving the pot part of the mould to one side and then just bringing the lid in. I'm going to zoom you in a bit there. Let's just move it more into shot. There we go. So you can still see that beautiful golden glow mica powder. I'm going to start finding pieces of the shell that I want to put, and I'm trying to remember to put them the right way down into the mould. And I'm just going to put a layer of these into this mould, into the lid part of the mould, and then I'm going to press them down slightly so they sink into the resin. Now that's absolutely fine to do that with the lid part. Absolutely fine. And if you want to do a similar thing with the pot part of the mould or the base part of this mould, then you can, by all means you can do that. Or you can do what I do, and I do a mixture of this and another method. Now I'm just going to move these out a little bit there. So I've still got a little bit of a gap there. I think from memory I do put another little bit of shell in, perhaps. But I'm just using that is a coffee stir stick. You can use whatever you'd normally use when you're doing your resin projects. Just to press them down a little bit, trying to make sure that there aren't any air bubbles coming up. I did also give these a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol just to make sure that any bubbles that came to the surface then dissipated, got rid of them. So putting a few more little bits of shell in. Now I look nice and tidy at the moment, but it does get a bit more messy and a bit mucky, so it is what it is. So I'm just going around the outside there with the coffee stir stick of the mould, just trying to make sure that no more bubbles are there, or clinging on for dear life there to the edge of the mould. And then just topping it up to the very top of the mould with a bit more of this lovely resin. Yeah, and there we go. I'm going to move that to one side because that's that one done. As I said, I'm going to spritz it with some isopropyl alcohol too. We go back to the pot. So I've got a bit of a wobbly camera there. Now this bit has been sped up because it was rather lengthy. Now I've got a certain amount of resin in the base, and so I decided I'm going to do the process that I did with the lid, and I'm just going to select bits of the shell and pop them in where I want them to go. Now this was taking rather a long time. So, and I was concerned about the rest of the resin that I'd made up and that it would start to cure and then I'd end up wasting the resin, and obviously I don't like to waste resin. So I'm going to then very soon give up. There we go. I've brought in the rest of the resin and now I'm just adding in pieces of this beautiful mother of pearl shell. So you can see what I'm doing there. So of course you could do this from the very start with the pot. I would do with this with the base of the pot base. Again, I would do it like this. So I'm just popping them in. I've already put quite a lot in, giving them a good stir round in the resin. A good stir round. There we go. And then just bringing the base part of the mould back in and just literally pouring it in. Now, the issue I've got, I don't know exactly how much resin is going to be required for this mould. And as soon as you add things in, because some of these pieces of these shell are quite large, it starts to take up room in the mould. And I found that the resin was starting to creep up the sides of the mould, and I needed to put a lot more shells in. So this is me just turning it round, adding more shells, and just directing them down into the areas where I needed them to go. Now, I needed a lot more. And I did actually end up taking some of this resin out and just mixing more shells in and then pouring more shells into the actual mould itself. So this is filling up quite a lot. So just kept stopping, every now and then stopped, turned it round, saw where there were some gaps, put some more in. Obviously you can put as many or as little as you want in. You don't have to use shells. You could just, you could put dried flowers in. You could put beads in. If you're going to put beads in that have got holes in though, you are going to introduce a lot of air bubbles, unfortunately. If you've got faux pearls, you could do faux pearls. You could do a mixture of shells or faux pearls. I mean, you could put in foil flakes. You've probably seen me do that in a couple of videos ago where I use these molds. Really, there's a lot that you can do. You can just use opaque coloured resins and do a whole mix of resins. Here we go. So I've put in some more shell, and I'm now noticing that the resin is getting rather full in the mould, as you can see, and I still need more shell. So here we go. This is where the mess starts. It starts to get a bit messy. So I'm just trying to persuade that one down. It's down into the mould there. I think I used about 4 or 5 pairs of changes of gloves as well in this project. Yeah, because it got a bit sort of sticky. So there we go. I have coated some more of the shells, but rather than pour them in and then over pour the mould with resin, I'm just putting the shells that I've coated into the mould. Oh, there we go. I'm just putting the rest of those little bits of shell in, which will sink down and then go down to the sides. There we go. Look, I'm just removing some of the resin that's come up, because obviously the shells going down the side pushes the resin up. What do they call it? Displaces. Is that the right word? I'm not sure. Can't remember. Yeah, so the shells displace the resin, meaning, in other words, take some of the resin back out. Decided in the end that piece wasn't right, so remove that piece and then put some other bits in. So these are the bits that I'm going to put down the side still, and then I do actually put some just on the very top as well, just so you can see. Because of course what you're looking at the moment is going to be the bottom of the pot, not the top. But look at that. The golden glow mica powder just complements those shells. So this is the second one. We're going to show you the process with all 3. So obviously it was just repeating ourselves here, but look at this. I am filling up. I am filling this cup, this mixing cup, up with pieces of shell. A lot of pieces of shell. I used a whole container of these shells. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry, can't remember the weight. It might have been around 450 grams worth, but I used all 450 grams in these 3 pots with the lids. A lot. So I had already poured a bit of resin into the base of that pot, and then thought I'm going to end up in the same predicament as I did with the first one. So Laura, why don't you learn from your mistakes? Oh, look at those bubbles coming up there. So I poured a bit out, enough out of it, and then I thoroughly mixed it in to these beautiful pieces of shell. So obviously that's what you can see me doing there. Now, straight in. No messing about. Straight in. So this is the shells mixed with the resin going straight into this mould. And literally, some of them you got them the shiny side way up, and some of them you've got the duller side, just to give it a bit of a mix, a nice mix. This is lovely. I mean, this is very much colour palette of being nudes, cream, off-white, natural, neutral shades. So would look lovely in any room. Beautiful interior decor pieces. I mean, you can obviously use them to put things in, totally up to you. If you're going to put them, if you're going to put candles in, please, please, please do not use real candles. Not if you're using resin. If you're going to use an eco-flow, such as Elichem or Jasminite, then you can use real candles. However, don't if you use real candles if you're using resin like I am, because it will catch fire, and we don't want anybody having to deal with that sort of situation. There we go. So just there we are. So that's all 3 done with the lids. This is about 12 to 18 hours later, and I'm going to show you the demold of each one as well. Now, I've put my gloves on because my hands, you've probably seen, a bit sore at the moment. So I'm just trying to protect my hands. These moulds, it's the second time I've used the moulds. They're still a little bit stiff, as you can see. I probably could do with leaving the whole thing for another 12 hours before demolding, but I am so impatient when it comes to demolding. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Can't wait. I'm having a few problems with the lid because I've got a bit of overpour, which I'm going to have to then tidy up. And I do show you how I do that as well. At least part of it, how I do it. But look at that, just coming out of the mould. Now, which one was this? Was this the one that... No, this wasn't the one with the mica powder in the handle part of the lid. But look at that. You see, now that's overpour. That's user error. Try not to do this, but if you do, when it's still soft, you can go in there with a little pair of sharp scissors, trim it up, and then make sure that when it's completely cured, so another 12 hours later, what I went to do is I went back with the deburring tool and went all the way around the edge, and it took down the rest of the overpour and also took the sharpness off of the edge of it as well. So there we go, just snipping with those scissors. I can't put a link down, unfortunately, in the description as to where I got the scissors from. Apologies, you can hear my dog barking, because we bought them from a craft fair, but you can get them from any good craft or haberdashery shop or hobby shop, you know, hobby place, or from Amazon. There we go, look at that. So that looks stunning, stunning. Look at that, beautiful. The shell is just suspended in the resin. It's got that little bit of mica powder going on. It's got the effect, the little pops, the little bits of glitter going on. It looks really, really beautiful. So here's the base. Now, here we go. I'm trying to demold when I've got sore hands. Not a good idea. So going to the aid, here's the lollipop stick or the popsicle stick or stir stick. This is what I decided to do. Now, I have had it recommended to me, use some of the spray that you can get and spray your moulds with the spray. You could also pull it open like this, spritz some isopropyl alcohol on the inside, and then that sort of loosens the mould from the resin itself. Yeah, I'm aware of all of those. Thank you for the recommendations and the tips. I do appreciate it, but I usually don't have this kind of issue when my hands are absolutely fine, but currently they're not. Hence why I'm wearing the gloves to try and provide some extra protection for myself currently. But here we go, look at this. Plus these moulds, it's only the second time I've used these moulds, so they're still quite rigid, although they are flexible enough to be able to do this. So it came out quite easily in the end. So that's the base. We're going to go round with a deburring tool. There we are. Didn't have much come off there, needed to wait another 12 hours, which I have done now, and gone back and gone round and taken off the sharp edge. But look at that. You can just about see the vertical line detailing there as well of that pattern. And the shells, again, looking stunning. The mica powder has collected more at the bottom. I think that's because there's more of the resin at the bottom than there is the shell proportion. Now, lid's a bit, doesn't quite fit well enough at the moment, but that's only because I need to go back with the deburring tool. But look at that, with the lid on it. These are beautiful. I'm sorry, apologies again. I know I keep saying the word beautiful and stunning, but when those are the right words to describe what you feel, and you feel they're right, then I'm going to use them. Here we are. Anyway, this is the second lid now. Here we go. It's coming off. This was the one where I dusted it with the mica powder. Now look at that. That's giving it a real like milky golden glow. There we are, the two compared to one another. One with the mica powder in the handle part of the lid and one without. Again, we've got quite a lot of overpour. Yep, me, user error. So I'm just going to go in with the scissors again and just snip it off. There we are. Because it's still soft enough for me to be able to do that. And I prefer to do it this way and then wait until it's firmed up a bit more and go back with the deburring tool. Just to trim it up a that bit more. And also so that they would fit securely and snugly in the pots themselves. So there we go. Sorry, excuse me. There we are, almost done with this one. But that, look at it. I mean, it's... Okay, so now I'm lost for words because I do think... I mean, I know what all of these look like together, and you probably do from the thumbnail. as well. Why not let us know in the comments box? What colours would you use? Would you use shells? Have you tried using these moulds before? They're from Temu. They weren't particularly expensive. Did you like the effect that you got? Have you used them with opaque resins, so solid colour resins? We've only used them with a little bit of mica powder, glitter, and some foil mixes and stuff, and obviously with this, but I just thought it was crying out. These were to have this. Look at that. So you can see it's like a vertical triangular shaped pattern detailing. Now, I do wish I had used the mica powder, the Golden Glow mica powder, and just dusted it all over that pattern detail on all of these moulds, because I think it would have just given it that extra little pop, that extra little bit of something to them. But I still think that these are exceptional. I think these are probably one of the best things that we've produced so far since we've been doing this channel, which is just over a year now. Thank you ever so much if you've been with us from day one. That first ever collaboration that we did with Claire's Crafty Corner. We now have 1,300 subscribers and nearly 4,000 watch hours in videos alone. It's hard work. We upload 3 times a week, but we thoroughly enjoy it. It is our hobby. It's not a business, but you never know what the future might bring. Anyway, must just point out that with this particular lid, I completely forgot, because I had to mix up a little bit more resin, I completely forgot to add in the Golden Glow mica powder. The glitter's there, but the Golden Glow mica powder isn't. So that's why it looks slightly different to the other lids. There we go. Can you see the difference there? But I don't think it detracts from it. I love it. Look at that. Love it. And with little bits of the mother of pearl shell in the handle, the knob part of the handle, or the handle part of the lid. I'm never sure how you describe that, but I absolutely love these. Love them. There we go. So here we are, the final demold of the base of these pots, and here we go. Laura is going to do her best to demold. It's been sped up, thank goodness. We're nearly there, everybody. Thank you if you've stuck with us there for this long. We really, really do appreciate it. As I said before, you know, nearly 4,000 watch hours. We're just over the moon. In fact, when you see this video, we may already have 4,000 watch hours. Here is the one that I dusted with a mica powder, and I thought I'd taken it all off. Don't know if you can see that little hint there, that little bit of golden glow. Obviously not all of it came off. So yeah, if I was to replicate this in the future, I would definitely dust the bottom there, the rim of it, with the mica powder, and the detail bit on the sides of it with the mica powder as well, because that again really just elevates this piece. Fantastic as an interior design piece, accessory for your home, your studio, your office, your holiday home, your, I don't know, caravan, static home, goodness knows, wherever, or to give as a gift. Again, suitable for anywhere, for anyone. Thanks again for liking, sharing, subscribing, and watching our videos and this video, considering it is a bit lengthy video. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you again very, very soon with another video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.